looking like the stronger squad at the moment. They have been having a bit of a better run of form. They made it into second place in DreamHack. Obviously, they did manage to win the upper bracket match between these two teams already in this tournament. So it seems like all signs are pointing towards LFO in this matchup. But is it going to be a clean 2-0? Is it going to be three maps? Or is there going to be that? Now what I will say is an upset from Order.
Yeah, we've gotten into this point as well where teams are just getting rid of Inferno and Mirage in the opening band stage. Either way, though, discussion for another time. Very, very quick up-tempo pace, straight up bathrooms into the A site.
Did the A bomb site just yet? Savage ducks himself behind Optimus. Hasn't been checked just yet, and he will manage to chime in with one before falling. Trades across the board right now, and it is the CTs that come out ahead. Gyra and Vexite are the only two alive. They've lost control of the bomb. A nice fast rotate coming through from LFO gets them into a very solid position here with all the angles essentially covered except long. They've also got that bomb control, so Order is going to have to work hard to retain control of it or retrieve it even to begin with. Yeah,
we're seeing some time being bled off the clock. This is giving options and opportunities for both Vexite and Gyra to go on some expeditions, look for peaks, but ex-Direwolves, they're not interested in maybe falling down to those kind of shenanigans. They were trying to take matters into their own hands, but in the meanwhile, Gyra gets himself a first pick, and they've lost a player. Order not seeming like they're super aware of both of these players' positioning. Maybe they're just thinking Apon's the only one on the flank, so they're trying to isolate it, but now they've spotted out both of the players.
Oh, he goes down as well. A very nice 2-on-3 from Gyra and Vexite to finish things off and come away with a pistol round for Order.
Oh, just such an awkward situation. Order, they very clearly had a certain read on things. You know, they were kind of saying, oh, we're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place. We've seen this player who was over there towards jump up, who actually rotated all the way through B and went up the connector. And they're kind of thinking to themselves, well, we just want to isolate this player on the flank and then we can play the round out accordingly. But what they didn't know and what they learned later on is that everyone was on the flank, but it didn't matter because they hit all their shots. So
sometimes that's just what you got to do, isn't it? Shoot them in the head a little bit better.
The heads, lol. Yeah, it's that easy to shoot better. Yep. Well, Order now into the anti-force. And does seem like they're going to be going through short B and connector.
Gyra's going to pick that pace up. He hasn't been heard, hasn't been spotted, and he's going to do some damage before Savage puts him down. 5-7. A favorite of mine, but he can't get much more than the one. Vexite secures another with the Khalil, and LFO are left with only a couple of players left in this round. Hazard. Oh, it's a nice one onto Sterling. Which is going to bring it back to 2-on-3. Order just won one of those, and maybe it's time for ex-Direwolves to win their own. Punch right back to Order in this first map of the series.
Yeah, Galil. That's a little bit more firepower for Hazard, and he's quite good at using these rifles. But that is a nice little crossfire. You've got the wraparound in short B, and although Sterling has hit that 1B, I fear that he's kind of running out of time here with no kit.
So you're probably right, but damage is damage, and at the very least, ex-Direwolves, they're managing to take a few guns away from Order. They're forced to reinvestment. They don't get the reward of their own, so there is that. They're going to have to take the save here. Full pistols coming across for ex-Direwolves. As their campaign will have to start most likely with a 0 and a 3 scoreline.
Yeah, and for Order, I mean, if you compare that to the Vertex game that we saw the other day, that probably means that they're going to have a better T-side than they did in this previous series. Definitely was not going the ideal way that they might have expected previously. Now we're heading into the anti-eco, though. It is a bad stack.
It's not a bad start for Savage. Needs a couple more, though, and there is a player progressing his way up short. It's Valiance. Looks like ex-Direwolves really want to take the fight through that monster tunnel. Hasn't really quite gone their way. Savage has managed to find a UMP and a lot of damage on the Ustillo as well.
Yeah, ex-Direwolves trying to force the issue because they can feel Order cancelling on this B rush. Order going to go back and explore some of their other options, all grouping up towards bathroom side, but they're taking their time, which is giving opportunities for ex-Direwolves to rotate accordingly.
And Gyra's only got a Glock, you know, so he's fairly susceptible, and that's going to make it look pretty good from Sterling. A double kill. The first one expected, but Valiance not quite able to swing around and find the frag. Now the bomb is dropped. Order will try to retrieve. Ricky gets the wall bang onto Sterling, which will help out, but they pick the pace up, and Licky puts the UMP to good use. He'll just back up a pace and try to play the 2-on-1. Order surely can't drop around here. Ex-Direwolves are going to give it their best crack. Trade can't quite come through. Ricky will save it on 2 HP, but my oh my, that was too close for comfort.
It was just a case of bad timing, wasn't it? The other Order players wrapping down through connector. You see two of the Order lads there with knife out or utility in hand. It looks a little bit silly, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about. But if you look at on the radar, you've got both Ricky and Ustillo coming up connector. You are not expecting someone to thread the needle on that timing and just catch you like that. So yeah, no doubt you should probably have gun out at all times if you're not doing anything important, and just have your crosshair positioned accordingly. But you know, these things happen sometimes. Sometimes you just get the god timing.
Can't complain too much about that. And 4A1S is out across the board for ex-Direwolves. Did see that tweet earlier on in the week from the IEM page saying that they have been a big proponent of this new weapon. I feel like not
everyone has.
Well,
everyone.
I've been seeing still a few A4s around, but not on ex-Direwolves. Not a single one.
I think you're crazy if you're not using the A1. It seems super, super strong.
I agree. I mean, I've always been a fan of the A1S, to be honest. But now it just seems like it has to be the go-to. And Hazard is putting it to great use.
You would not do that with an A4. Even Hazard, who's like one of the best A4 users I've seen. Like the ease of those frags is not possible with the A4.
Certainly making it happen, isn't he? A1S, maybe a big buff for ex-Direwolves. Big buff for the CT side, I think, in general.
Yeah, I think you're just able to more reliably win these mid to long range duels, without having to, you know, tap for the head or anything like that. You know, it's just not a whole lot of movement inaccuracy once you're trying to recalibrate your shots. You don't have to be super, super accurate. The bullet spread isn't too crazy. And obviously, the main thing being that you kill in 4 bullets.
Savage is going to do that as well. And so Ricky, he doesn't have much of a chance in this round. He'll just be sitting back in playground. Taking the save, showing off his weapon.
Yeah,
got the Ricky
few
sticker
stickers on that gun. Yep. I mean, he was heading into this tournament. He was probably hoping to himself for some more up-to-date Ricky stickers, but I think that dream has kind of gone by the wayside now.
Yeah, not possible anymore. Even if Order were to make that lower bracket run, go through to win the grand final, Renegades would still have enough RMR points to make it to the major. It's about pride here, I suppose, and a bit of redemption, I think, in particular for Order after the last couple of weeks having been a little rough on them. I'd love to get the better of ex-Direwolves right here and maybe silence a few of the questions that we've been asking. Hazard with a big push out on long has gotten a lot of information for ex-Direwolves. Order has essentially been corralled into this B take, otherwise they'll run back into the sightlines of Sterling or Hazard as well. And that's a great shot from Sterling through the wall, gets Valiance. Hazard continues his creep forward as well, and that Tech 9 is going to be no match for the M4 this round. Starting to slip away quite quickly from Order.
Yeah, they went for that short B control, but they were just getting chipped at with nade damage, delayed by utility and ex-Direwolves. This is one thing that's really impressed me about their roster. They don't rest on their laurels. They stay aggressive. A couple of messy fights over towards this B side. Order, knowing that they're at a man disadvantage, they've lost a lot of map control. Try to cut a couple of corners and win some duels, but after all said and done, 4-on-1 for Ricky, who's trying to pick up the C4 in towards connector, and Hazard is kind of on his trail.
Well, Ricky cops a headshot, but he's able to send one back onto Hazard. The AK proving to be successful in this situation. Ricky's been the one that's kind of performing at the moment for Order. He's finding a lot of those frags. He's been able to open up a couple of the bomb sites, win that clutch as well.
He's been their highest rated player. I think he's sitting around 1.3 right now. So it's a good performance for him. And he's obviously extremely experienced, extremely well-rounded. A bit of a task too far to see him maybe convert that 1-on-3, but He's definitely one of those players in Oceania now where I look at him, he's got international experience. He's played a variety of different roles. He's a veteran, but he still puts the performance up in the server domestically. So one of the more valuable players that we have in our scene for any team, and obviously an extremely big asset to Order.
We save round 4, Order. Started off the map pretty well, but ex-Direwolves, when they got the gun in their hands, they really answered nicely. Money hasn't started to balloon out too much yet for the CT side, but just the way that they negotiated those last couple of rounds makes me think Order is feeling pretty comfortable on the CT side of Overpass here.
They did pretty well, Order, on CT against Vertex the other day. They were down 11-4, and they swiftly turned that game back on its head.
Fuck. Losing a sizable chunk of HP, but he's able to get a kill as a reward for that. We'll have a challenge from Backside headed in his direction. Azar! Bit of an awkward spray in the end, and once you start to get a bit wayward, it's very difficult to come back against the Pistols, who are just ADing all over the place. And so that's 2 M4s in the hands of Order, just when I start to praise ex-Direwolves for this CT side so far.
Yeah. These are the kind of rounds where you could definitely be dropping them. CTs in a 3-on-3 have to spread themselves a little bit more thinly. And Order, they are on that T side. They can be assertive. They can pick and choose where they want the engagement. So it's all about having solid positioning on the CT side or information gathering. And at the moment, I think they're erring on the side of just some safe standard positioning. Bit of info gathering with the jump spot. Vexite, I think, is trying to show the bomb to the CT, and indeed he has by dropping it on the ground. So maybe that hasn't gone the way that they would have wanted.
Vidge takes a nice aim duel against Justillo, and well, Valiance doesn't have any time to get into the A bomb site, so he's just going to try and save the rifle through.
That was pretty cheeky, what Vexite was trying to do there. He saw the jump spot of the AWP player, so he's just trying to show the bomb on radar while his 2 teammates creep into B and then get back down the connector for a last second plant off the back of those rotates. Doesn't end up working out, but particularly when you are at a bit of a disadvantage, you're just on an eco round that becomes winnable. Those are the kind of gimmicks that might just be enough to give you the timing you need.
I'm back in the hands for Order. Another opportunity to start to make some inroads in the first half. Ricky loses a bit of HP, so does Gyra. Some good util usage starting to come through for ex-Direwolves, and they've pushed out by bathrooms. A lot of information being gathered up toward the A side of the map. Nothing so far on long for ex-Direwolves, so that's an area of the map that they will have a little of a concern about. Hazard will just creep back to ensure that there's nothing going on there. Rest of the forces committed toward the B side of the map. Taps coming through from APOC. Licky will swing off of the distraction and makes it work perfectly. Well done from Licky.
That was beautiful, the way that they set that up. I mean, you said it, the spam through the woodwork, just drawing the attention of the T's, and then the peek out from Licky. Sets himself up for a multi-frag in that position. And again, it feels like ex-Direwolves are just getting these man advantages time and time again on the CT side.
Being able to find a lot of picks at the start of the rounds and Order making life tough for themselves, having to play out a bunch of 3-on-5s and whatnot. APOC looks like he's going to get a nice timing onto Valiance, and Vexite losing his buddy will not be quite as eager to push his way into the B-bomb site anymore. So it just feels like the round kind of peters out again for Order, where we've had Valiant saving a gun once and Ricky doing the same, and now it's Vexite and Ricky that are just going to have to sit here, wait that timer down, hope that they don't drop after time, and keep those 2 guns through to the next round. But it's a bit difficult to swallow because that's now 4 in a row for the CT side. APOC going on a bit of an expedition does drop his own, but it's not a huge deal when ex-Direwolves are getting through the round with 4 guns alive.
Yeah, they're just getting a whole lot of picks in the early to mid round and able to just sit back, rest on their laurels, go into some more passive positioning. tactical timeout in here for Order, and you know it's early days here. They had a good start to this Overpass T side, but these last couple of gun rounds are not filling me with much confidence, Jordan. And I'm going to reiterate and ask the same question: why have you, as Order, gone and picked Overpass when the other day you're having a bit of a struggle on it against Vertex of all teams? You know, maybe that was just a bad day at the office, but if they can't get much more done than this on this T side, then I'm going to really be questioning the pick.
Me too. And I think that would be quite reasonable. It sort of feels to me like a bit of a curveball pick from Order. It's a map that they have had some reasonable success on, I suppose. I mean, they haven't technically lost it so far in the last few months, but the competition that they've been playing against has been not to the same standard that LFO is today. They've beaten Vertex, but that was a 16-13 to be fair, and they could well have lost the map there, and then they beat that Paradox Rooster roster a couple of times. But I would put neither of those teams on the same standard that I would the team they're facing right now. And
I think it is just Rooster both of the times. I think that other
that's what
result
I'm saying.
against
Yeah.
Paradox, yeah.
The Paradox Rooster iteration is what I'm referring to, yeah.
Yeah. Because the old Paradox used to play this map as well quite a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as LFO is concerned, they're two teams that are probably just a little bit below them.
For sure.
Lanes is going to creep nicely into the site, but Savage actually covers off the player in dirty water, ducks his head down, can't quite survive the barrage of bullets coming his direction from Vex side, but he has at least slowed down the push onto the site itself. There's a smoke there for Order to try to get up, press, and plant the bomb on the floor, but ex-Direwolves are really fighting hard and losing a lot of HP in some of these duels. Licky can't get too much done. Order are winning the battle of attrition at the moment. The Molotov chiming in with 1, and now Sterling 2. A 1-on-1 against Gyra, who only has a MAC-10, and Sterling has spotted him out as well. The flick doesn't quite connect though, and Order will find a round by the skin of their teeth. It looked a bit messy on both sides, but Order scrape it away.
It's just an absolute bloodbath on the B site. I think the main difference, though, being that Order just did not give that many opportunities to ex-Direwolves to find those picks. You're seeing the AWPs, the aggression from the CT side with the A1S, able to very, very consistently and reliably find man advantages in the early to mid round. That round, Order, they just took matters into their own hands. They went for that set play towards B and just wanted to take the duels nice and early on. And it could come down to the one-on-one. Still could not have gone their way if things had been a little different, but at least they set themselves up for a fair situation and they got it done. There's another iteration of almost losing that man advantage. Luckily, Sterling does not connect there, so Order will keep 5 players surviving here. Seeing a very cognizant... Oh my god. Like, you're seeing a very measured kind of approach from Order where they're really not trying to lose that pick. But Sterling's gone really deep for that one, all the way up onto that spawn line with the AWP.
The opening again for ex-Direwolves. Go back and count the rounds. I'd say that the vast majority of them, at least the gun rounds, have been favorable for ex-Direwolves from the outset. Hazard is just playing anti-flash. He has been spotted by Vex side. Spins around and gets a little bit of damage, actually. But he was never going to survive there if the timing was right for Vex side, which it was. So we're back to 4-on-4, but 30 seconds left, Pilski.
It looked like a weird situation, but you're not often seeing the T's just contact in towards bathrooms there, because a lot of the time they're fearing the AWP, and you're going to see utility. And meanwhile, ex-Direwolves, they've walked through all of B. It is very clear what the play is. I'm watching APOC towards Long, who hasn't been cleared out just yet. He could kind of be the thorn in Order's side, but he still is wrapping around to clear him out.
Oh, nice shot again from Sterling. He seems to be on with the AWP today. 9 seconds, Order need to get in and plant that bomb on the floor, but no one can cover Valiance from Licky. And if it weren't Licky, then it was going to be Sterling. So the round was well and truly lost by Order. Again, you have a T player just saving a gun. It's Ustillo who'll take the Hero AK into this round, and ex-Direwolves, they bounce back from a rough previous round and come through with a pretty solid one there.
No doubt. They're not waiting for a round for seeing what Order's doing. You saw the very, very... what's the word? Why is my brain not working these last couple of casts? They made the decision to go and find out what's going on after they lost that player into the bathroom. They push straight through B, all the way through Monster, cleared out short B, and they're able to inform that rotation by coming up on the flank. So it's good mid to late round play from ex-Direwolves, keeping active. Again, they found that first pick. I can't remember how many rounds this has been where first kill has gone the way of ex-Direwolves, but it's been pretty crazy amount now.
Well, opening kills are certainly favouring ex-Direwolves by a substantial margin. Looking at the opening duels right now on the scoreboard on HLTV, which is admittedly a couple of rounds behind, but it was 5-1 at the 7th round, and now we're into the 10th, and I think the last couple of rounds have also included opening frags going the way of Direwolves. So, you know, it's probably something like 6-7-1, or maybe 7-2, something like that. Well, I suppose it has to be up to 10, I guess, but yeah, somewhere around 7-3 or 8-2, I suppose, favouring ex-Direwolves right now. It feels very one-sided in that respect, and obviously that means that Order's giving themselves a little bit more work to do in every single round than what they ordinarily need to. They don't have that full cohort of 5. Stillo's going to try and sneak through the smoke, but he's not going to have much success in that respect, and APOC covering Savage well is going to put to bed Ricky as well. It is just a little bit lackluster in this round from Order. There's not much that they could do, to be fair. They only had the hero AK, but only the 1 kill, and that elevates the money back up to a substantial level for ex-Direwolves. They'll feel happy with it.
No doubt. A little bit of extra money in the back pocket will help them to buy into another gun round should this one not go the way that they're looking for, but especially Hazard down on 1500, might not actually be able to afford a buy. I think if ex-Direwolves go down in this round, you might see them take a bit of a half buy, because they've certainly been reducing their loss bonus quite substantially. Order straight back on the horse though, they're going to buy up for themselves. Vexite's taken a little bit of damage early on there, and again, Order, it seems like they're putting a lot of premium on this B map control. Vexite, it was one of those 1-1-3s where you've only got that one player towards A, and Hazard just immediately takes that player out of the equation, and this is going to put a lot more pressure on Order. They've lost all control over that A side of the map. So now either they commit into B, or they need to do the hard yards and go back up through bathrooms and ensure that ex-Direwolves doesn't have the information to do exactly what they're doing right now, which is just force stacking the B site. There's no way you're getting in there.
That push on the CT side, on the upper side of the map, has come quite a few times, once or twice from Hazard, and also from Sterling out long as well. So it's something that Order needs to be a little bit prepared for. And to be honest, it felt like Vexite might be aware. He did sort of peek in the direction of Hazard, but Hazard's just looking like he's too clean at the moment, and he gets that one done and dusted quite easily. It's not even like a fantastic performance this evening from Hazard so far. Like, he's 6-9. That's an underperformance as far as Hazard is concerned, but he's still finding really relevant frags and putting ex-Direwolves in great spots to just win rounds. There's Savage getting another kill onto Gyra, and slowly but surely the round just starts to peter out for Order.
I don't really know what's going on. I'm like, what is Order doing right now? I actually can't. This is not usual for Order. You don't just usually see Order. Effectively, that round was 5 Ts on different angles, walking into ex-Direwolves crosshair and getting killed with no real utility setup. There's Gyro walking solo out Monster, 2 players taking duels with no utility onto A site, and then Yusilo walks up B and gets killed as well. There's no cohesion there for Order, and those are the kind of things where I'm watching them pick Overpass in this series, and I'm like, this is weird. It's Order. This is a team that's known for their structure. They're good calling on the team side.
Well, it's not being displayed at the moment, I would have to say. And it is a straight-out rush from Order towards the A-bomb site. Timing might not be too favorable for them, though. What a flash and what a round. Is it even really worth getting excited about at this point in time? 8-4 is the scoreline. Ex-Direwolves are looking premium. And it was just pistols for Order, but I mean, I think it's just a metaphor for how the entire half is going. The more we see of it, the better it's getting for ex-Direwolves, and it just seems like there's less and less coming into every single one of these rounds for Order.
Yep. There's just been no real like fantastic play out of Order on this T side at all, control wise or XVX wise. man. Is that Ricky gone already? I'm just looking at that HE, Nate. He got legs pretty early on. Cute little boost in here for ex-Direwolves. Savage just flashing over from barrels. APOC pops his head up. And guess what? There's another opening kill for ex-Direwolves. If Sterling can't quite get it done with the AWP, one of these A1Ss is going to find an angle to do it.
Tough day for Order. And the further it goes on, the more difficult this becomes. They're just starting to feel more and more disheartened. Ricky down to 17 HP now as well, so the round gets even more difficult. But at least they got some control of bathrooms. So they got a little bit of map control earlier on than what they have been ordinarily. But that is about to be stripped away from them. Just every single timing for ex-Direwolves seems to be perfect. And Order don't have an answer.
Again, a 3-on-5. 40 seconds on the clock. This is familiar territory. This is not a whole lot going right for Order. Nice entry in there from Vexai up towards bathrooms, but swiftly traded back. Ex-Direwolves going to maintain the advantage. And what do you do when the bomb is in spawn with 30 seconds on the clock and Ricky's got no HP? Like,
And it's a 2v4.
This round is not happening. I don't get it, Jordan. What is going on?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, Pilski. If we go back and look at that match that they played against Vertex on this map,
they didn't have a good T side
they,
there
they
either.
also
the
did,
comeback
yeah.
was all CT.
Yeah, so that's kind of the one thing that's like keeping me going a little bit here for Order, is that they only got 4 rounds against Vertex, but that was enough. That said, you know, again, that's Vertex with a stand-in, so if you're going to have only 4 rounds in the first half against a team like ex-Direwolves, I'm not sure that they're going to let you get away with a comeback of that magnitude. However, there is still a couple of rounds left in this half, so it's not over just yet for Order. If they can salvage these last 2 rounds, maybe the half doesn't look so bad. 9-6, that's definitely workable. So it's not all said and done just yet. Let's not, you know, count our chickens before they hatch. However, you know, again, I have to say, it is looking fantastic for ex-Direwolves, so I don't want to take anything away from them.
I mean, just watching this Order T side, it doesn't feel like I'm watching Order. I feel like I'm watching ex-Direwolves play one of these lower level teams like we see in ANZ Champs or ECA Premier or something, where, you know, it's individuals walking into crosshairs, they're losing opening picks in almost every single round. Outside of just the initial protocols where they're trying to throw the right utility and set themselves up in the right parts of the map, I'm not seeing anything too, you know, special out of Order, which is weird to see on their map peak. I mean, we'll see if they've taken a timeout now. It's another pie round. See if they've come up with something novel to solve their problems. Again, it's a bit more of a defaulty round. Before they were running a B default with 3-1-1 towards B. This time it's you know, it's 3 towards A. Still, he's still 0 in towards connector. Hazard is again solo aggressing on this A side of the map. Different positioning every time.
Yeah, I don't think this is a bad approach from Order this time. Just have that default set up over toward A, expect some aggression to come through from the CT side, but now it sort of seems like they're not going to get it. Hazard is playing mind games with them. He has pushed up a little bit on long, but he's not going to push any further. He's not going to try to peek in towards Fountain or into Playground or into Balloons or anything like that. And if he does, well, it's going to be a little bit later on in the round. So maybe now Order's starting to second guess themselves. Are they watching the angle? Yes. And Jaira eventually catches Hazard off guard. So finally, something goes the way of Order.
Sterling taking matters into his own hands, so walks up on his bathroom line. Dexite's been left alone to lurk in this part of the map, try to punish any searches for info from ex-Direwolves and come through on the lake lurk, try to find some impact. Rest of Order grouping up towards his B side of the map, looking to isolate Savage. That's an excellent flash. Vexite goes down on the other side. How has Savage not been isolated? He does get traded out, and Licky now trying to fight for Order.
Ooh. Well, APOC and Licky both lose their lives in quick succession, which leaves it on to Sterling. You know, a couple of heart-stopping moments for Order there, that if Licky hits 1 or 2 of those shots, then maybe that push is all over for them, leaving it really down to the wire. But they still have to negotiate. A 2-on-1 against Sterling, who is 17-4 at the moment. He doesn't have a huge amount of time to work with here. It's taken him a while to get down to the B bomb site, but this is very winnable, very achievable for Sterling. To particularly if he hits that first shot, but it'll be Valiance to take a hold of it this time. 3 kills in the round. A nice bounce back from Order as they get up to 5. And they can, of course, contest for 6, which would really salvage the half a little bit.
Just a massive multi-frag in there for Valiance. And again, this is a round that comes from Order just not losing opening picks. In fact, they started that round off with the opening pick and then just keeping things simple, going into the sites with good spacing, trading out. So just sticking to the basics. But it's effective, and they are potentially on the brink here of finding themselves a 6th round in this half.
Savage and Valiance playing a dangerous game with one another. Different approach from ex-Direwolves this time. They've got 3 players set up in bathrooms. Expecting that push to come in their direction from Order. They may be proven correct in a second. Couple of flashes, bits of utility smoke coming in here as well for Order, so they are headed in the direction of the bathrooms, which is where ex-Direwolves have consolidated their forces. Could be walking into a trap right now. Pilski smoke is going to fade in favor. Licky not quite going to get the better of Gyra here, but the peak, the swing comes through from Hazza, who can't win the duel. Question being, though, do they expect APOC? Do they expect a 3rd player in the bathrooms here? Or do they just go running past, giving up their lives? It's a mess! Ricky misses the shot. APOC gets him down to 7 HP, but he doesn't find the kill, and that is critical for Order in maintaining the numbers advantage.
Yeah, finally getting some good trades out. Finding those opening picks. They're going to pick up the pace back in towards this B side of the map. Sterling given an extra angle, though. It's a bomb drop. Luckily,
seconds.
Ricky doesn't get straight on top of it, or he would have for sure lost
Molly.
his life. Valiant's getting mollied out.
Well, he is going to get the bomb plant down. The molly didn't reach far enough. It's spread onto Valiance, who waits inside the smoke as it fades and gets a lot of damage onto Sterling. The retake looking a little more precarious now for ex-Direwolves. Savage really needs to find some space, get forward, take this challenge onto Valiant, and he needed to win it as well. He couldn't do so, and in the end, 6 up on the board for Order. They make the half look a little bit more respectable than the direction that it was headed in. So 6 on the T side. Is it enough against ex-Direwolves? We'll find out in the second half.
never die. Whoa, faded as we push through the darkest times. I'll be there by your side. We arise when everything's breaking. Our souls will awaken. Our spirits never die. At the end.
G'day, welcome back. Jumping into the second half here. It is 9-6 favouring ex-Direwolves, and so far so good for them. Though they did let a couple of rounds slip towards the end of the half there that might make Order feel a bit more comfortable starting off in this pistol round. It is only the 3-round deficit. I'm not sure they're going to get much time to think about it, though, because they are going to get collapsed upon in that B site. Very fast play here from ex-Direwolves. He hasn't rechecked that second player at Toxic Barrels. Ustillo, as of yet, still having no impact on the round, but it seems like more than enough being done right now by Order to give them the advantage. Exciter 1-for-1. Whittles down the numbers for both sides just a little bit. APOC is coming into his own, though. Has the P250 in hand. Has to make a difference with that weapon, and so far is doing so. Gyra loses his life against Savage, or rather the vice versa, and then Gyra pulls off the 2-on-1. APOC can't get it done. What a quick pistol round from ex-Direwolves. It doesn't quite work out.
Bloody mess, mate. It's an absolute mess. Oh, I was getting worried about Order in that last half, but they really sort of took some DAC pauses and found the solution to some of their woes on that T side. Just started grouping up and going together, and then, I mean, that pistol round was not going so well, but it comes down to the last bullet in Gyro's clip, and he gets it done. Ex-Direwolves now, they're not force flying in the second. So this is kind of what I was theory crafting, where I'm like, well, now that A1S is super popular, maybe second round force flyers are not that good anymore.
Maybe you're not the first one to cotton onto that possibility. Ex-Direwolves are quickly working their way up long. It's not seeming to be much of a problem for Order, though, because the MP9s are going down. You still are Ricky. They just farm it up. That is a lot of cash in the back pocket for Order, and I have to say, I think that the storyline is starting to change a little bit here for this first map. It was looking a bit too easy for ex-Direwolves in the first 2/3 of the first half. But now with those last couple of rounds going the way of Order in the end of the half, and the pistol and a very subsequent nice post, anti-eco coming through for Order. I mean, it's 9-8, so we're kind of right back into square one, where both teams are going to have to work hard to come back into the control of this map.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm kind of wondering how much depth ex-Direwolves is going to have on this T side, because we were talking about Order maybe not having that many reps on Overpass, but ex-Direwolves don't really have many reps either, and a lot of those are against those lower level teams also. So we've definitely seen some great T side stuff from them on a variety of maps. For me, it's mostly been Dust 2 as well as Vertigo. But I know you watched the grand final over there in DreamHack, and we saw a lot of closer maps against Renegades on different maps as well. So I'm keen to see what they have for us on Overpass.
MP9s were retained through for both Ricky and Ustillo, which leaves their firepower looking a bit susceptible. But if they're going to play behind a smoke like that, it's going to work. MP9 fire rate getting the better of one, but not another. Hazard doubles down with the AK. Puts some inroads in on toward that A-bomb site as well. Not chucked into the corner. No one will be hiding there. Hazard is a man on a mission in this round. He's got 4 kills. And Valiance is the last alive for Order. Famus only. Does get a bit of an upgrade there into an AK, but you won't be looking for the retake here, I dare say.
It's just been such a joy to watch Hazard play lately, hasn't it? I think there were times in Hazard's career where, maybe like 2 years or so ago, where, maybe he hadn't had as much competitive experience, and you could see flourishes of that every now and again. He was a little inconsistent, and sometimes in the big games he went missing a little bit. But at least on this core roster, and summer 2020 as well, we've just seen some absolute, no other way to put it, just some star power out of this man. He will do that with put him in the right position, he will just go and kill the entire enemy team with just some perfect mechanics. Great aim, great movement. Just completely destroys the other team.
Does get a helping hand from some of the util coming through from his teammates there as well. But hey, if you're the man in the position, you've got to hit the shot eventually. And so, credit where it's due. Nice entries from Hazza. Brings his scoreline back to 14-14. Hasn't been the most phenomenal map from him. It hasn't been the most dominant map we've seen from him, even in this competition. But he's definitely putting in the numbers moving into this second half. And it is a big one to win for ex-Direwolves. Picking up that first gun round puts the money back to danger territory for Order if they drop right here. And you could well see the scoreline start to balloon out once again off the back of a win from ex-Direwolves in round number 19.
Ooh, expecting that lurk position there. Double nades coming out for that close position towards Monster, but no one from Order playing there. Ex-Direwolves working the map quite nicely, right? Going for short B through connector there instead of through short water. They've cleared out some of that connector. They're working a little bit of bathrooms control now, but nothing crazy. As we're getting towards the later parts of this round, you still see a fair bit of utility from both sides. Gyra's holding onto those flashes towards Monster. Valiant's has still gotten that smoke and that Molotov ready to go. And one thing that I will say about Order on this map is their utility usage against B site hits is impeccable. And they win a large percentage of these kind of situations. So I'm keeping an eye on where these utilities are being placed. First molly goes towards Monster. Gyra holding those flashes for the teammates.
Not a huge amount of time here for ex-Direwolves. The rotation has come
Oh my
through
God.
for Order. Not too bad from Valiant. Gets a lot of damage done onto Licky, but still only the one kill. And entries are being confirmed for ex-Direwolves regardless. Ricky chimes in with one more onto Hazza, but Bomb Plant is just about to go down. There's still enough time that this isn't really a highly pressure situation for ex-Direwolves. However, has swung back to the 2-on-2, and Savage can't really exit default, so a lot of this round is going to come from what Sterling can do, just playing on the ramp behind the pillar, safe from Ricky, and he does spot out Gyra, brings it back to the 1-on-2, and poor old Ricky hasn't found a way to have any impact in this round. It's the double swing through from the T's. They take matters into their own hands, and they win the round 11-8, breaking that CT economy, an all-important round for ex-Direwolves. They were essentially playing for two, and you'd have to imagine now they've got it.
Yeah, no doubt. The flash was pretty well timed. I thought that was going to be the round getting shut down there, you know? You had the flash into Monster. I thought that that was going to be a 2K and then a freebie to get out as well. The second flash came in and was reasonably effective, but in the meanwhile, ex-Direwolves was throwing their own utility that was keeping those CTs back from taking agency of that round. And like you said, that is an important round to be winning. Ooh, a lot of damage in there on the Deagle from Dexite.
Is, but you've still got plenty of healthy players on the ex-Direwolves side that are ready to step up and take that challenge. Savage being one of them. A player that has a lot to prove and has been doing a really great job of that so far in 2021. He's been one of the talents that's been unearthed in this shake-up within the oceanic scene. Seems to be the perfect fit for the ex-Direwolves roster. This is going to be a round that sets them through to number 12. The lead against Order, so it has stretched out again. It was, you know, just the 3 heading into the half, and then Order won the pistol, but ex-Direwolves have worked hard to actually increase that gap, put a bit more pressure back on the shoulders of Order.
Yeah, I'm getting a little worried for Order because, I mean, what I'm seeing, at least on the CT side, is, or at least in the earlier parts of this game, is that Order, I feel, on an individual basis, they're kind of getting out-fragged a little bit. You got a couple of lads who are having a quieter game so far, whereas ex-Direwolves, one of the most dangerous things about this team, and you'll see it if you go on their HLTV page, you look at the ratings, is that there's no weak link in terms of the fragging on this squad. People rarely have bad games. The last time I can remember is like that APOC game where, you know, that was very, very rare to see him not really have put that many kills together in a single map. But for the most part, all of these players sit above like 1.1 rating across the board, the whole team. And in this game, you're seeing, again, like, not that much of a frag disparity in terms of the spread across the team. And that just means that Order, I mean, you're going to have to start to see some of these lads on an individual basis on the CT side step up and multi-frag a little bit, which is not an easy task when you've got so much talent on the ex-Direwolves roster.
Yeah, a lot of firepower on the T side. Put an AK in their hands and they're liable to pick up 2 or 3 quick kills. Different approach again from ex-Direwolves, this time not as much presence over toward the B side of the map. They're exploring the underpass, moving up onto the A side, working their way through bathrooms, which is currently held by Ustillo, but he's locked behind a smoke for the moment. A challenge from Hazard, and once again he'll be able to win that duel. Timing picks up the pace from Ustillo. He looks to go through the smoke. He's been found out by Sterling. And ex-Direwolves will get their way into the A bomb site off the back of a couple of nice entries. And Order have a decision to make here. Try to retake 3 on 5 or try to save those 3 guns through to the next round. But that'll of course give 13 to ex-Direwolves, and it's, you know, not going to be doing wonders for Order overall.
No doubt. Seeming like ex-Direwolves kind of putting the pieces together in this game already. Money's fantastic. In this round, you see like what? 5 players with 3k plus. So they're pretty hard on the hunt here. See how many of these guns they're able to take away.
But Apox in a good position to do so. Still, Gyra looking pretty sharp. Actually keeps it alive for Order. A couple of guns survive through. Which could have definitely been worse. It's a costly hunt for ex-Direwolves, though they're not going to be too disappointed with their money going into round number 22 anyway.
Yeah, it probably wasn't worth it. I kind of wonder if that 3rd kill is the break point for Order not to buy here though, because you can no longer drop, you know, those 2 guns and have that extra rifle. And indeed, as I kind of suspected, it is the break point. Order can no longer buy. They might have considered dropping over those extra guns if they had kept 3 alive saved over. So in a way, even though they threw 4 guns away, ex-Direwolves have stopped Order from going for a buy and have maybe set themselves up to win this anti-eco, of which there's 2 dangerous rifles that they need to account for.
As they're opening the door, does alert Ricky to his presence, and that's going to be a deagle in the back of the head for him. Gyra playing the crossfire from short. Happy with that 1 kill they've gotten. Order will just stagnate their way back into the B bomb site. Next Direwolves have to slow things down a little bit. However, pick from Sterling opens the door right back up.
Yeah, finds that one in towards Monster. Order, Ricky's got that AK interconnector. They're going to take short B. But in the meanwhile, they've kind of shuffled around the positioning, and now there's a bit of a window for ex-Direwolves to just walk straight into B. They've seen Vexite falling away there. They're just going to pick up the pace. The Molotov on towards short is keeping these CT defenders back.
Yeah, Bok's done a good job of getting some deep control on the site as well. It'll be tough for the CTs to rotate in when he's in that position. Gyra, however, from short, does manage to grab 1, which is enough to keep the conversation going for the CT side. But they do only have Vexite with a USP. So it's really onto Gyra and maybe Ricky to get some magic done here. I'm not sure if Order is really going to commit to this retake in the end. Ricky is still fighting, but it sort of feels like time has gotten the better of Order here, even if Ricky does make his way through the monster tunnel. No defuse kits available for either of the CTs, and they still have yet to dig out the 2 remaining ex-Direwolves players. So the round is going to go the way of the T side. It costs all 5 guns. But again,
Yeah.
T side, it's not the biggest of concerns.
It is kind of getting concerning though. Like, okay, 1 round where that happens, fine, but 2 rounds in a row, they drop 4 guns for 1, and then against that anti-eco or with the 2 rifles, they lose all of their guns. That actually is going to have a bit of a domino effect. The good news for ex-Direwolves though is that they do have a 6-round lead, so they have plenty more time to recover from this. The loss bonus isn't anything right now, but unfortunately, losing all of those guns will have an impact if Order starts picking up a couple of these gun rounds here. Because it's going to give Order some room for comeback and some room to build up their own money. You haven't secured that point just yet.
Well, you're not wrong, but that is all under the proviso that Order is able to win this round.
It's a double AWP. It's a bit of a difference. Oh, Nate opened up the doors and a cheeky play. That's beautiful. Love to see it. First pick goes the way of Order. Something we haven't said too much so far this game, and they've even legged Licky. So, might not be so far-fetched that Order can pick this one up.
Certainly looking better and better for them as the round progresses. Speaking of progressing, Savage is doing just that in the bathrooms. Order sending their forces scrambling all over the map, but the majority of them are up toward the A side. That's where they need to be. Sterling's not going to find an avenue just yet. The jump spot's coming through, but Sterling ruined a little bit by the pole in his way. Couldn't see. With 40 seconds left, ex-Direwolves at least have taken control of bathrooms, but they still have to get into this A bomb site, and time ticking away from them. Order looking really solid, having a decent amount of counter utility to play with here. And ex-Direwolves are just going to have to hit some fantastic shots on the way in. Licky drops early on in the piece. Ricky with a strike as well from the AWP, and that is a very solid hold from Order. All off the back of the opening pick from the AWP. You mentioned the double AWP, and it's proven to be quite successful for Order.
Yeah, and this is where losing those 4 guns and then losing all the guns in that last round actually has ex-Direwolves hard punished in terms of the economy after losing that gun round. Order wins it with 4 alive, and now they go into the anti-eco, and we're talking about the CT side being able to fully recover and try to fight for this game a little bit, rather than just trying to scrape the scraps and the pieces together and put whatever buy they can together. They're going to be able to have full utility, double AWPs rolling. That's where this game gets a whole lot harder for ex-Direwolves to close.
We're not quite in hot water just yet for ex-Direwolves. Still got a lot of rounds to play with here, though. This one is not exactly what they would have been looking for. Just pistols coming out. Bit of damage, however, being done. Savage, the P250 in hand, is putting in some good work. Takes a couple of guns away from Order, which is about as good as you can hope for. With a buy like that for the T side. Of course, it's not going to be the case anymore. Money's flowing back into the coffers of the T side, and they will reinvest. There is a Galil for Hazard. So we're down to some substandard weaponry, a decision to make for APOC as well. But he's gone for the AK and, you know, just a couple of token pieces of util rather than the full belt.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to matter. That's 4 flashes across the whole team against the double AWP setup. That's really meaning that you're going to have to be shouldering correctly. Oh, that's definitely going to help out. Vexite going deep into connector, loses his head. So, one less AWP to worry about with the limited flashbangs. 1-3-1 setup for ex-Direwolves, all working connector, working that middle of the map.
Gyro's going to have a peek into short water, which is going to be some false information. He doesn't see anyone, but ex-Direwolves were quite close by. Just hiding out of sight inside of the connector. And they've worked their way back up toward A, and this is where you really turn your attention toward Ustillo, who's there solo. He has an AK in hand. He's got util headed in his direction. Tons of flashes pushing him off the line, ensuring that he can't see anything. But the smoke almost comes up to save him. Nice trade from Licky, and perfect timing from APOC to creep out of the monster tunnel and catch Ricky on the rotate. That looks like it should be around for ex-Direwolves. But Gyra and Valiance have other ideas. They're sticking around, seeing if they can find any avenue back into this round. And none is being given yet by the T side.
Might even think about saving these over. Both of these 2 players are actually a little bit lower on cash than the rest of the boys. Unfortunately, Valiance has lost his life, and there is no recourse for Gyra. He could go and try and trade frag that one, but it looks like he's trying to go for the save. Well aware that APOC was on the lurk towards B earlier on. And, oh, nice little readjustment. Does keep himself alive, but it's kind of a participation award at this point. Ex-Direwolves, they secure themselves map point here. Now on their opponent's map pick.
Well, at least money is looking pretty good for the CT side, so they can fight for this one Order. All starts with the opening pick from Savage. And for a moment, Ustillo might be able to survive here, might even be able to double down, but fantastic trade from Licky, and that kill from APOC really seals the deal.
Well, connect control. Super, super good for ex-Direwolves last time around. We'll see what they're going to be going for here. Seems like a bit of a 1-4. Hazard going to be lurking in towards that unders area. Order quite aggressive towards this A side of the map. You're still trying to find someone creeping up connector. You've got Ricky on the deep line in towards party. The rest of the players towards B. So at least they have that 3-man B set up there. Because they're going to need it to defend what I'm assuming is going to be some kind of a play towards B here for ex-Direwolves.
Pick from the AWP again. That was what was successful for Order in the previous round, but a nice little sneak back from Licky. Gets the head off of Vexite. Hello creeping around the corner as well as going to lose his, and all of a sudden, ex-Direwolves are back in pole position.
Need to account for Ricky though. You would not be expecting the CT side AWPer to be in this position at this point in the round. He just misses Hazard. He's been allowed to creep past. Apox punish the push from Valiance in towards Monster. It just can't go right for Order at the moment, it seems.
No, I was going to say Savage is the one with the bomb, so if he follows Hazard, he might be running into his death, and then Ricky might be able to cover the bomb off, but... Oh! What?
How's he alive?
Ricky's been absolutely robbed. If anything could not go worse for Order, I don't know. When he eventually gets Licky, bomb plant's going down on A though. It should right now be a 2-on-2. Hazard, however, is surviving on 10 HP. It must have gone through the wall, but I can't imagine how.
Double AWP retake in the 2-on-3. No utility to cover off that bomb defuse, or should be maybe for Gyro at least.
Or
Never
not.
mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fallen by the wayside now. 16-10 in the end for ex-Direwolves. They pick up map number 1 against Order in reasonably convincing